happen behind the scenes of Bridge Lacrosse, and we're super grateful for folks who work behind the scenes who maybe aren't that visible but who make a huge difference. Let's welcome up to the stage, Mark. Where's Mark? Come on up, Mark.
Did they get the moms off the field? Was that yours?
Thank you very much. My name is Mark Frears. I'm on the board. I have been on the board for a couple of years now. The way I got connected to Bridge Lacrosse is my kids played lacrosse, not for Bridge, but they did play lacrosse. And it goes all the way back to my brother, who was a lacrosse coach up in upstate New York. And when my boys were born, what did they get? Mini sticks, of course. So, I mean, that's where it all started and where they grew from there, and how they came to love lacrosse and how I came to love lacrosse. And I'm fortunate enough to be part of Bridge Lacrosse now. So my personal responsibility is going to kind of take a little more of a journey, kind of my life journey. I have a little more seasoning, a little more experience than Melise, so I can tell a little bit more from my story on where I went, how I've learned personal responsibility. I started off in Michigan, okay? So I wanted to go to college away. It was time to get away, so thought that was a good idea. Maybe I'd learn a few things from that, and maybe I want to get away from my parents, but so I got on a train in Chicago by myself and went to Seattle. I went to college in Seattle and did not know a soul in Seattle. Did I learn some personal responsibility? Yes. I got there, and the day I got there, it was supposed to be time to when the dorm opened, so I could just get a taxi, go from the train station to the dorm. I got there a day early. I called the dorm, and they're like, "We're not open yet." And I'm like, I don't know where I am. I don't even know how to get to you. So they did acquiesce. They allowed me to stay in the dorm. I was the only person in an 11-story dorm on campus that night. That was a little interesting. So as my journey continued through Seattle, I think there's two things that always come back to me from responsibility, personal responsibility: time and money. How do you spend your time, and how do you spend your money? So I learned how to deal with, my father gave me a certain amount of money every year. That's what I had to go to college on. That's what I had to live on. I had to determine how am I going to make up the difference in that. And it cost a whole lot less than what it costs now. A whole lot less. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So did that. I started to learn personal responsibility through that journey as I was doing that. So I was in Seattle for about 8 years. Had an opportunity, in the aquarium there where I was working, trying to get a job. Thought I'd go to Dallas, visit some friends, stayed and came down here, thought I'd stay for a year. God had different plans. That was 1983, so still here. So that happened. I learned, okay, well, things don't always happen for a reason. They do happen for a reason, maybe not the reason you think. So as I was down here, working in that field I thought I was supposed to be in, and decided that really wasn't what I wanted to do. So I was off working in another field in a restaurant, in between careers. And so at that point, I'm still having to live in, at that point, the job I had didn't provide enough money for me to pay for my room and to live on. So it was a second job. So again, I'm learning personal responsibility through having to manage my time, having to manage my money. So at that point, I'm working at the restaurant. I meet this really, really cool hostess. She's sitting over there. So my next lesson in personal responsibility came as that progressed down the way, and we got closer and closer and closer. And then so I went to and started to talk to my potential future father-in-law. My potential future father-in-law says, "You want to marry my daughter? Get a job." A real job. So I left the restaurant business, took a cut in pay, went to work at a bank, but it was less than what I was making at the restaurant at the time. So did that, worked at the bank for a while, continued to work, manage my time, manage my money, went back to school at night to continue to add to my education. Got through that. Kids came along. You think you're going to learn personal responsibility? Yes, your kids come along. You're going to learn a lot about personal responsibility. So how am I managing my time? How am I managing my money? And how I can raise them up to be the best they can be. So we continued to do that and go our way along that. As we did that, then there's more and more opportunities for us to kind of learn about ourselves, learn through our kids, what they're going to do, what we're going to do, how we're going to do through them. And I think it's one of the biggest lessons out of all the way through that, and you get all the way, I mean, my kids are 21 and 25 now, so I mean, they're out of the house, you know, and we're getting ready to go to a different phase and a different time in life. And really my biggest thing about personal responsibility is not what it does for me, but what it can do for others. Where am I going to take, where is my personal responsibility to give back to others? Because it's not about me, it's about what I can take, what I've learned and what I've been given and blessed with, and how I can make a difference in other people's lives. So keep up the great work, David.
Excellent. Thank you.